been a bit about Jota this week, but this hasn't been reported, by the way. There's been numerous people talk about Jota and maybe he could be sold and stuff. I don't think that was ever really likely to be anything, if truth be told. But like, I saw Paul Gorse report, like, he said, like, there's probably no intention immediately to replace Firmino, because as it stands, they've got 6 forwards, as and when they're all fit. Roberto Firmino's going to leave. That leaves them with 5, what you so senior players, and then you mention your Carvalho, maybe Bento, Kate Gordon, whoever it is. Like, there's enough to do anyway in the summer. Like, the Jota thing, I think we can knock on the head. Like, that's going to be nonsense.
Yeah,
really,
well, we'll stick out with that if you like. I mean, I think I would be amazed if Liverpool were looking to do anything with Diogo Jota. He's had a season that's been a write-off so far, hasn't he? Pretty much, a handful of games he's played, maybe 10 this season. He hasn't been at his best for a year, really, for various reasons. One of them obviously was he wasn't starting games, really, was he? He was being left out because because Diaz had signed and made such a big impact. So Mane was moved into that central role, and Jota was sort of in and out of the side. Then obviously he got the injury in the summer. It took a while to get back into the side or get back available, and then picked up another injury. So you can't really sort of go into this position of Diogo Jota's in decline or Diogo Jota's sort of no longer the player he was. We don't know that. And the evidence, actually, I think, of since he's come back is that that's not true. I think he might need a goal, and he might need a couple of goals, but I think you can see straight away Diogo Jota's sort of impact that he can have on Liverpool. He makes them a very threatening side, and a far more threatening side than they've been for much of this season. So he's still got a massive role. He signed a new contract last summer. He was signed as one of these players that plays in 2 or 3 different positions, so sort of by definition really sort of loses chances but gains chances because he's being plugged in somewhere on the left or somewhere on the right or in behind when they play with 4 or down the middle. I don't think Liverpool want to lose that. I'm not sure personally how highly rated he is away from Liverpool. I don't think he's a Sadio Mane or a Mo Salah where Europe's giants look at them and say, "Well, wow, what a player." I think people might need to look a bit closer to see Diogo Jota. If you're watching him, so I don't see sort of Paris Saint-Germain's and Barcelona's queuing up and saying, "Oh yeah, he's the one we want, so we'll give you whatever you want for him." So I don't see much of a world really where he leaves at this stage. You look at his age, 26, I think. Still got plenty to offer Liverpool. So no, I think we can get carried away a little bit. And I'm actually writing a piece for tomorrow for Goal, where this idea that we've seen Liverpool's new front line emerge. Where does Luis Diaz go then? Sort of which one's playing down the middle? Is it Nunes or Gakpo? Or we make this conclusion based on the last game we saw, don't we? And we say, well, that's it. That's Liverpool's front 3. So where does Jota fit in? Well, we've seen many times this season. 12 months ago, Jota was in the front 3, wasn't he? Jota was the centre forward. Things can change very quickly with injuries, with form, with just sort of tactical tweaks and nuances. So there's going to be plenty for Diogo Jota to prove at Liverpool, and plenty of opportunities to do it. So I think he's very much part of the future. Could be wrong, but I don't see it. And I think he's got that little bit different about him that other players maybe don't, in terms of scoring sort of headers in and around the box and being that kind of poacher, if you like. I know he hasn't done it much in the last sort of 10-12 months, but we saw him at his best. He was that penalty box player, wasn't he, that can open the score in so many games, get the first goal. And I think that's priceless for a team like Liverpool.
Yeah, so I 100% agree, by the way. I think the 5 that we've got, unless something mad happens, you're right. It's just whether it's what you choose to do with that 6 one, I suppose. Like I say, we've mentioned loads, and we're going to speak about it later on as well. There's still whatever happens at the end of the season, there's still work to be done in the summer, and there's money to be spent. I'm going to speak about what John Henry's comments as well a bit later on. But in general, it does feel like this is one where, they did it when they let a few other, they let Origi go and they let Minamino go, and they were like, we've got enough anyway. And Sadio goes and they didn't really, and it was Nunes, so it was 1 for 1. But it feels to me like that it probably could be one where they just stick with the 5 maybe, and they go, listen, if you want Jude Bellingham and you want X, Y and Z centre half, or you want these midfielders, we can't do everything all at once. Yeah. It feels like they could go. This is where signing someone like a Fabio Carvalho last summer makes sense, because he's had like a year and a bit now where he'll get right. He should be in the position to take that 6th forward role, you would think.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly that. And you've got Ben Doak, who's played in the Premier League, shown a pretty good hand in what he's done. You've got Kay Gordon. We still need to see him come back from his injury, but he's played in the Premier League, so you've got teenage forwards there that are of the potential to be pretty good players. And you're looking around really. I mean, look at the rivals. How many carry sort of 6 first team level forwards? Not many. Even City don't really do it, do they? City have got Haaland and Alvarez. Then they have Mahrez, and then they're plugging in sort of players who can play 2 or 3 positions. Andy Bernardo Silva or Foden or De Bruyne. Liverpool have got 5 players who are it's 4 players. If you take Salah out as being the star of the show, the 4 really behind it, you could throw a net over them in terms of who you could put them in any order really. That who's the best, who's the second best. Not many clubs have that luxury. I don't know if they'd sort of take on another sort of senior sign, and I think it'd be more likely to be sort of what can Carvalho do? I mean, look, he's not had that many opportunities, has he? And I have to say, I think he's probably underwhelmed a little bit in terms of what he has provided when he's played, just physically more than anything. You've still got obviously a Curtis Jones, a Harvey Elliott who can move into the forward line, either side. So there are sort of good enough options, I think, for a 6th forward. I certainly wouldn't expect Liverpool to be going out sort of targeting another Gakpo or another Nunez or another Jota, another Diaz. I think you'd be looking at them sort of working on a project, maybe moving Doak more into the first team picture, or moving, Carvalho and saying, look, no, you're gonna have to learn to play number 9, or you're gonna have to become a right-sided player, those kind of things. So I can't see Liverpool sort of being massively in for forwards this summer. It wouldn't make an awful lot of sense with it in terms of what they've done in January, what they've done last summer, what they've done the previous January. They've been buying these forwards for this moment really to sort of step up and be ready when the old guard are moving on.
It's funny, isn't it, because I bet a couple of years ago you'd have said of the front 3 who's going to be the last one standing, not many would have picked Mohamed Salah. I always felt that I think the general consensus was if anyone was going to go and have that big, you mentioned before, the big money move, it might be Mo Salah, but in fact no, he is going to be the last one standing now. Bobby's going, Mane's already gone, and it's Mo Salah's job to almost be the transition between, you mentioned before, like the 2 eras, with Mo Salah very firmly in the middle, still as the best player and on the most money and the star man of the whole thing. But I think you might have got good odds on that a couple of seasons ago, perhaps. Yeah,
possibly. Yeah, I mean, especially when they won everything, didn't they? And you sort of thought he felt like the one out of the 3 who had that ambition for the storyline of their career to go and I want to do this, and then I want to do that, and I want to do this, and I want to go and play here. And he's been pretty well paid to hang on, hasn't he? But I think it does reflect well on him. The fact that his standards really haven't dropped, have they? I know he had some tough times and a few bad months, and people talk about a bad season. They'll do 22 goals, but he does seem to sort of. It doesn't take long, does it, before he strikes up a relationship with these new players that come in. You've seen him with Harvey Elliott, you've seen him with Nunez, you've seen him with Luis Diaz, with Jota, now with Gakpo. I mean, there was great signs at the weekend of that, or the last few weeks really, of that development. So it does feel like a little bit, I suppose he's almost like the new Steven Gerrard a little bit, isn't he, in the sense of you hear players talking and saying when they signed, it was sort of Gerrard, if he was having you knew quite quickly, he'd start firing the ball into you, or he'd start looking for you. And we saw Gerrard, didn't we, when players like Torres and Suarez signed, that he gravitated towards them, and it was like, right, yeah, come on, I want to play with these type of guys. I think you're seeing good signs from Salah in that regards, that he's having these players that Liverpool have brought on to play with him. So yeah, it bodes well. Although, we shouldn't forget the struggles of this season and the fact that it can get to the stage where we're looking at it saying, do you want to finish 7th or 10th? We should sort of take the positives without believing that everything's going to be rosy. There's still a lot of work to be done.
Hey guys, that was a clip from JOURNO Insight. Each week we have Neil Jones here in studio talking about all things Liverpool Football Club. If you want to go and watch that entire show now, we spoke loads about Bobby Firmino, you saw the Jota stuff. We've got loads on Tielemans, Peter Luger, John Henry's comments, the UEFA final fiasco, and loads more. Go over to redmenplus.com. If you sign up as a club captain on a monthly tier, enter the code JOURNO, JOURNO, on the payment screen, and rather than paying £5 a month, you'll get it for 99p a month for the first 3 months. So go and check out redmenplus.com, use that code JOURNO, grab a bargain, and watch the entire JOURNO Inside show. See you in a bit.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching that show. Did you know if you go over to redmenplus.com and sign up as a Club Legend subscriber, you will get access to our amazing Discord chat, 20% off merchandise, live tickets every year for free, plus all our incredible content, and you'll get absolutely everything right as it happens. So get over there and do it.